Hello everyone and welcome to part 7, aka the finale of What If Elita One was in Transformers Prime. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So we start this part off with Predaking, as he commands his Predacon squadron to attack. And they rain hellfire, with Vehicons and Insecticons dying left and right. Both Optimus and Megatron command their forces to halt the fight with each other and focus on the current problem, the Predacons. Optimus Prime orders the Autobots to form a defensive perimeter around the Omega Lock. And Elita One is like, you heard our leader, let's protect the Omega Lock. And Megatron goes with a different strategy. He orders his Decepticons to attack head on. And Megatron begins summoning energy with the Dark Star Saber. And Predaking, seeing that Megatron is basically the powerful one, seeing him with the Dark Star Saber, he charges at Megatron. And Megatron with the Dark Star Saber charges enough electricity at Predaking, stunning him temporarily. And Megatron summons up a huge explosive burst at Predaking, but Predaking emerges from the ashes in his beast form. And Predaking breathes fire in retaliation, which pretty much weakens Megatron's armor and causes him to kneel down wounded. And then Predaking grabs the Dark Star Saber and says, "Farewell, false Emperor." To which, using the Dark Star Saber, he proceeds to stab Megatron in the spark, which kills him. And he also uses the Dark Star Saber to leave no evidence of his body. And I must say, the way that happens is, since Predaking doesn't have an arm of a Prime, the Dark Star Saber, since it only responds to the arm of a Prime, and then it overloaded and blew up also inside of Megatron's chest, which basically left no trace of his body. Shockwave emerges from the crashed warship. "No, my Predacon, what have you done?" And then he's tackled and pinned by two other Predacons, Skylynx and Darksteel. And then they both transform, looking at each other, then looking at Shockwave. "So you're the one who Lord Predaking speaks of. Thank you for allowing us to start this revolution by leaving him on Cybertron." And then the two proceed to rip apart Shockwave until he's dead. To which the remaining Decepticons rendezvous together and decide that it is best to fall back. Shadow Striker assumes leadership. "Decepticons, follow me." And then they retreat with her. To which Predaking leads his squadron to attack the Autobots. Elita One and the Autobots open fire. And then Optimus is like, "You want them? You have to go through me," and then he gets in the way, in between the charging Predacons and his fellow Autobots. RC is commanded by Elita One to get all the Autobots to safety. And at first, RC is quite hesitant to leave Optimus Prime and Elita, but she knows that they can handle themselves, so she orders the Autobots to fall back, following her. And then Predacons begin to overwhelm Optimus, beginning to weaken him. And Elita One is like, "Optimus!" And then she begins glowing, and time freezes around her. And she drags Optimus Prime wounded far away. And time reverts back to normal, with Optimus Prime waking up and looking at Elita. "Elita, what did you do?" And then Elita One collapses on him because, similar to her G1 counterpart, if she uses that time freeze ability, it could possibly kill her and drain her life force. And Optimus whispers, "Elita, you didn't have to." But then he thinks for a moment and thinks of a way to possibly save her. He must find his former mentor, Alpha Trion. It's the only way. To which Optimus Prime walks off, holding Elita One. Meanwhile, RC, along with the other Autobots, rendezvous at an Autobot outpost that was used during the war. Patriot keeps an eye on the skies in case the Predacons are onto them. And he's just thinking to himself, "You bots have dragons on this planet? Why'd you never tell me?" And then RC is like, "Those aren't dragons, they're called Predacons, Fowler. Now all we gotta do is wait for Elita and Prime. Hopefully they haven't been scrapped." Moonracer and Greenlight both say that Optimus and Elita could take care of themselves. They've survived this long, haven't they? Surviving through even the worst things. And that's when Patriot says, "Incoming!" And a lone Predacon drone swoops in and starts attacking them. But a shot comes out of the sky, killing the Predacon drone. To which all the Autobots look at each other, and they're all like, "What in the allspark was that? Who saved us?" Then they look to see, as a ship lands and an Autobot exits, Ultra Magnus. To which all the Autobots recognize him, except of course Patriot. Wheeljack of course is not too excited about seeing him, but Moonracer reassures him, now we might have an edge. Ultra Magnus is like, "Soldiers, it's been a while." Then he looks to Patriot, seeing him as Optimus Prime. "It's good to see you again, sir. Been a while." And then Patriot, aka Agent Fowler, is like, "Sir, do I look like Optimus Prime to you?" Wait, never mind, don't even answer that. And all the Autobots go quiet for a little bit, kinda amused at the joke, but they have to take the thing seriously right now. To which RC catches up Ultra Magnus on the current situation. And then once Ultra Magnus is caught up, he says, "So, Optimus Prime and Elita One are nowhere to be seen, am I correct?" To which the Autobots nod, and say that the Decepticons are also crippled, and they ran off. Ultra Magnus then says, "Very well, I shall assume command until they resurface. And since we are extremely low on numbers, as I could see, I think I have an idea. Perhaps if we could reason with the remaining Decepticons, maybe altogether we can have a chance to defeat the Predacons." To which all the Autobots look at each other. That's a risky plan, but it could work. To which the Autobots follow Ultra Magnus onto a ship, and they head off in the direction of where the Decepticons could have fled to. Meanwhile, Predaking thinks that Optimus Prime and Elita One are dead, so both the Autobot and Decepticon factions are crippled, and all that's left is to hunt them down. Since all the Predacons were frozen, so in their eyes, Optimus and Elita One are no more, just like Megatron. So, Predaking sends his squadron of Predacons throughout Cybertron to hunt down any of these what he calls inferior Cybertronians. Meanwhile, Ultra Magnus' ship is flying, and then it's shot out of the sky, crashing down, and the team emerge out of the rubble to see that Razorhorn was the one that shot him down. And the other Decepticons emerge from the shadows. And Shadow Striker's like, "You Autobots made a bad move in following us." All the Autobots look at each other, then Ultra Magnus steps forward. And he says, "I assure you, we are not here to fight, but to form a deal. Let us be rid of these Predacons. And since our leaders are gone, perhaps we could form an alliance." As to which all the Decepticons look at each other, then Soundwave and Shadow Striker walk towards Ultra Magnus. And all the Autobots are on guard in case they get fight. And Shadow Striker, as the current Decepticon commander, puts her arm out, only to get rid of these Predacons. And Ultra Magnus puts his hand out very well as he shakes her hand. As to which both remaining Autobots and Decepticons decide to charge in together in the hopes of defeating the squadron. Meanwhile, Optimus Prime with the down Elita One reaches the location that he's been going for, still damaged from his battle against the Predacons. And he waits at a door with a security system. He scanned, he and Elita One, and the door opens and out walks Alpha Trion, whom I'm saying is alive here because we could say he managed to escape the Decepticons once they entered into Iacon and took Smokescreen. And then he says, "Optimus Prime, my student." And then Optimus says, "Alpha Trion, I need your help." To which, seeing Elita One, Alpha Trion puts her on a med lab table and looks to Optimus. "You seem worse for wear yourself, my former student." And Optimus says, "Indeed, Alpha Trion, but I would like for you to help her, even if it means my own life to be gone." And then Alpha Trion then looks at him. And then he looks to Elita One. "She used her ability, didn't she? I warned her many times in the past. She did it to save me. She didn't have to do so." Elita One is then placed into a container, which it begins keeping her body alive. And then Alpha Trion is like, "Optimus Prime, use your matrix. Restore her, and I shall give my life to restore you." And then Optimus says, "Alpha Trion, you do not have to do this." And Alpha Trion says, "Unnecessary sacrifice to bring peace to this universe at last. I know you will both make me proud." To which Optimus Prime opens up his chest, revealing the Matrix, and he begins to restore Elita One. And at the same time, Alpha Trion summons all of his life's energy into his staff, aims it at Optimus Prime, sacrificing himself, which generates Optimus Prime, healing him, and giving him a brand new body. And then, Elita One is also reformatted into a brand new body. And Elita One looks down at Alpha Trion's body. "Oh, Alpha Trion?" And then she looks to Optimus. "Optimus?" And Optimus tells Elita, "My apologies for not telling you about his whereabouts. He told me to keep his location a secret after the message conveyed by the Starsaber. However, he offered us both the second chance to make things right and end this. Now let us go together." To which both of them with a flight ability fly off To which we then see the remaining Autobots and Decepticons, whom charge in all together in the hopes of ending this once and for all. However, Predaking and his squadron quickly overwhelm the remaining bots and cons. And then Predaking is like, it's time for you inferior Cybertronians to be executed and for the new era to begin. All hail Predaking. He then walks up to Shadow Striker as he remembers her. And Shadow Striker's like, what? No, please. And Elita One comes in flying and uppercuts Predaking. And then Shadow Striker's like, Elita, you saved me? Why? Because that's what sisters do. What you did to Lancer was wrong. But know that she forgives you. We forgive you. I forgive you. And then Shadow Striker's a little taken aback by all those words. Predaking is about to charge at Elita One. Optimus gets in his way and headbutts him away. And Ultraman is seeing this orders everyone to open fire. And then an all-out battle begins, where Predaking's squadron begins falling left and right. Skylynx and Darksteel charge at Wheeljack. However, Razorhorn gets in the way, sacrificing himself for Wheeljack. And the last thing he says is, to show you I am not hot gel. And Wheeljack is just plain out shocked. And then the two are about to charge out Shadow Striker. That is until Soundwave gets in the way and sacrifices himself for Shadow Striker. To which we then see the remaining Autobots pull off a combined attack and killing off Skylynx and Darksteel. Predaking is enraged at the sight of his Predacons falling, but everybody remaining is relentless and they open fire all together on Predaking, specifically at all of his weak points, which he then goes offline. And now it's all over. Everyone takes a moment to reflect on the past and everything in the war. Shadow Striker and Breakdown are essentially pardoned for their war crimes. Moonracer and Wheeljack join Ultra Magnus, and together they form a new Wreckers team with Breakdown and RC. Patriot, aka Agent Fowler, returns to his homeworld, planet Earth, and a new High Council is formed. The Allspark is found, and Cybertron is officially restored. And the last thing we see is Optimus Prime and Elita One leading together as the new golden age of Cybertron begins. And that's where I'm gonna leave it off here, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this story, and I'll see you guys in What If Ironhide was in Transformers Prime. See you guys then.